Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they can't stay consistent long enough for talent to matter. A lot of people struggle with inconsistency, and I'm no stranger to that. I've experienced that in my own life, and I have developed systems to help me to overcome, being inconsistent. I'm just as human as everybody else in terms of I'll start the year with a goal, and for example, to go to the gym. That's a goal that a lot of people start the year with, right? You want to work out, you want to stay fit, you want to look good when summer comes, and you just want to be healthy. And so you sign up for the gym, and you go the first week and you pump it out and you're pumped, and you go the second week and you lift, but then you're sore, and then the third week you think to yourself, maybe I can take this week off, and then something comes up the fourth week, and then that gym doesn't see you for the rest of the year. How many of us have that story? Consistency starts with commitment. So you have to commit. So the very first option we're going to look at, or the very first method we're going to look at, is commit. You have to show up 100% of the time. You can't miss a day. You can't show up 99% of the time. You have to decide in yourself that you are going to show up 100% of the time, come what may. Most people leave the door open. I'll try. Let's see how this goes. But they never fully commit 100%, which is what is important. You have to burn all other bridges. Either you're going to get this thing done, or you're just not going to do it. There is no other option. The only option is to get the thing done. When you remove every other option from the table, there is no negotiating with yourself at 7 a.m. whether you're going to do this thing or not. Why? Because it is the only option on the table. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You rise to the level of your commitment. Oh, that was so good. Let me say it again. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You rise to the level of your commitment. The next tip to being forever consistent is that you need to make a contract. So that's the second C. You need to make a contract with yourself. This contract needs to be binding. What does this mean? Once that contract is signed, it's not like any other thing. You can't break that promise to yourself. This is a signed, sealed, delivered document, and you're going to treat it like you would treat any other contract, right? And breaking that contract has repercussions. So there is no breaking of the contract. You have to keep your word to yourself, because guess what? Every time you say you're going to do something and you don't keep your word to yourself, you are teaching you not to trust your own word. You are teaching yourself that your word holds no weight, right? And pretty soon your whole being will start believing that, and so you'll never be able to stick to anything for long. And so this is why it's important to make a contract and to keep that contract with yourself. The next banger of a way to keep consistent is you have to be in good company. You have to find a company that you can grow with. What does this mean? You find people with similar goals to you, with similar objectives in life. And not only that, you find people as well who have already done the thing that you want to do, and those are the people that you stick around. So for example, if you're in the company with somebody who, for example, makes YouTube video, when you call them and you say, hey, da da da, what's up? They're gonna probably be like, hey, I'm filming a video today, or da 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 da, right? But if you call somebody else who, they don't have anything going on, and they're not striving for the same things as you, they're just okay with, watching a game or whatever. Not saying anything is wrong with that, or, chastising anybody, but if that's what that person is okay with, and they're like, nothing, just chilling, then you will also think that nothing, just chilling is okay. There's a true statement: show me your 5 closest friends and I'll tell you who you are. And that holds so true. It is such a true statement, right? Just a couple weeks ago, maybe even less than 2 weeks ago, I met somebody at church, and I found out that he is a runner, so he goes jogging. Now, if you know me, when I started jogging, I couldn't go from point A to point, I couldn't even go 0.1 mile, right? Without feeling just extremely exhausted. Now I am consistently, I am consistently running a mile every other day, and there is no, two ways about it. Even this morning, I'm on vacation on the beautiful island of Jamaica. I don't know if you can see the beach all the way there back in the background, and I got up and I ran, right, sweating, dripping, came back and took a shower. Why? Because I've made that commitment to myself. I've signed that contract with myself, and come what may, I am doing this thing. Anywho, before I sidetrack, so company, right, that's the point we're at. And so found this guy, 22 years old, he's into jogging. He started last year, and he had the same issue as me. He couldn't run 0.1 mile, just from here to, I don't know, a short distance. Couldn't run it without feeling like he was gonna pass out. That was exactly how I felt as well. Even going up the stairs was, seemed like a mammoth of a task for me. But he told me that he's been consistent for a year, just 22 years old, mind you. And he said he recently ran 16 miles. If you know anything about running, right, a marathon is 26 miles. This man did a half marathon plus, and it was just a walk in the park for him. And so I started hanging out with him, and usually I do a mile, but our very first session, he pushed me to do 2 miles. Wow. And this is why I say being in good company will push you beyond your limit and will push you to strive and accomplish the goals and the commitment that you have set for yourself to ensure that you are consistent. So when I'm back in the States, I know he's gonna, hit me up for us to continue along that journey. And he's even prophesied something, right? He said that because I have made this decision, right? I have decided this for myself, and I am running with him, right? I'll be able to accomplish more than he accomplished in the period of time that he accomplished. Not that it's a competition, but because I have somebody who's already been there, done that, to guide me through, it just makes accomplishing the goal so much easier for me. And so you have to be in good company. The next banger of a tip is that you have to curate your life around the goal. What does this mean? Your whole life is surrounded with that goal that you are trying to accomplish. The videos that you watch, the music that you listen to, the conversations that you have, everything about your life is surrounded with your goals. Let's face it, sometimes you aren't going to be in the room 100% of the times with those people that, build you up. But what you can do is control what comes to you, the information that comes to you. You can control what comes through your headphones. You can control your entertainment. You can control the conversation that you have. You can control your feed, right, on socials. Those are the things that you can control. And every input is either bringing you closer towards the goal or further away from the goal. There is no in between. And so you have to decide to curate your life, right? That's the next step, to curate your life in such a way that it is completely surrounded by the goal. Because guess what? You aren't just what you eat. You are also what you watch, what you listen to, and the conversations that you have on the daily. So it's definitely important to curate your life around accomplishing your goals. Be consistent your whole life. You also have to prepare for collision. What does this mean? Disruption always follows intention, right? I learned that from Myron Golden. And so in Genesis 1 verse 1, it says, God created the heavens and the earth, but the earth was without form and void. That word was means that the earth became without form and void, because disruption always follows intention. It's the same thing with the pointer that I gave earlier with the gym, right? You intend to go to the gym, you intend to do something good, you intend to, do the 75-day hard challenge. You have this intention, but something comes in to disrupt the plan. I remember I had intended to go to the gym last year, and the disruption was that I had to get up and move 1,500 miles from where I was staying. That was the collision for me. But when you can see those collisions, right, as just speed bumps and you can plan for them, it makes a world of a difference. Like, already have in your mind, once you set the goal, that there might be something that comes to disrupt the goal that I am trying to accomplish. And with that in mind, you tell yourself that no matter what, this goal still has to be accomplished. So if something does come up, I am going to put a system in place, right? A safety net, a safeguard to overcome that speed bump, instead of treating it like a wall that stops me and I have to start over 2 years from now, or I have to start over a decade from now. And so it's very important to plan for the collisions. The next tip to never being inconsistent in life again is to crawl, right? Crawl. Before you can walk, before you can run, you have to crawl, right? A lot of people just go out the gate, boom, and then crash and burn very quickly. But when you're able to, I'm not saying that you're not supposed to, go out the gate quickly, but when you crawl, here's the idea behind it. Even if it means putting out a little bit of time at first, at least you're out there putting out something, putting out an effort towards the goal, right? Consistency isn't about intensity, it is about frequency. One bad rep is still better than no rep at all. One sentence written is still better than no sentence at all, right? The version of you that shows up small every day beats the version of you that shows up big once a quarter, once every 6 months, right? And so never let a bad day become a 0 day. That is very important. You don't always need a good day. You just need to ensure that you never skip a day that you plan to do something on that day. Very important. And the last and final tip to being the most consistent person ever, and to never being inconsistent in your life ever again, is to do a check-in, right? Do an audit, a check-in. And so the way that you approach your goal on day 1 might not be the same way you want to approach the goal on day 90. And so maybe on day 60, for example, you might want to do a check-in on what works and what does not work, what you can put more effort into, or what you need to draw back effort from so that it still fits your lifestyle, right? So set a recurrent check-in, whether it's monthly, weekly, whatever fits your lifestyle. Ask, is it still working? What needs to be fixed? Because consistency isn't about setting it and forgetting it. It's about building that goal that you can maintain, right? Building that system that you can actively maintain. And so what got you here won't automatically keep you here. I think that there's a boat in the water. I don't know if you guys can see it. Is it a boat in the distance? But yes, what got you here won't consistently keep you here. So check in or check out. Check in or check out, right? And so I hope you take some of the tips from this video and apply it to your life, because being consistent is way better than having that burst of motivation one time a year at the beginning of the year, or the middle of the year, or on your birthday. Being consistent is so much more than that. And the people who accomplish the most in life are those people that show up every day, even when it's hard to show up. The people that are the Michael Jordans of this world, the Steph Currys of this world, the Kobe Bryant of this world, those are the people that were or are consistent They don't take any off days. Of course, they rest, but their life is surrounded by their goal. So make sure that your life is also surrounded by your goal as well. I want to say a big shout out to Sheldon. We spoke about consistency earlier, and that is what gave me the idea for this video. So shout out to Sheldon. I hope you stay blessed, everybody who was able to tune in and watch this. Hope you are able to remain consistent, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care.